Okay guys, 1978 Toyota Hilux pickup. Bessie, as those of you who's been following, that's what she'd been named. Just going to give you a little update. Okay, so maybe I'll back up here just a teeny bit for some of you. I bought this truck. I was out looking for a little Toyota two-wheel drive truck that sat low with a 5-speed, so I could go out and pick up motorcycles, because I had a full-size pickup with a trailer, and if I found a bike that I really wanted that was 4 hours away, it ended up costing me extra $100 or something to go get it, and wear and tear. So I thought, hey man, get me a little 4-cylinder 5-speed Toyota that sits low, easy to load bikes up on. And in the search, I came across this thing and had to have it. As soon as I saw it, I thought, wow, man, this would be a great little truck to slap a small block Chevy in. I had a motor that I got out of a vet that I built up. Was pretty badass that I was going to put in it. But then I had a chance to get a Monte Carlo that had a blown 6-cylinder. So I ended up sticking in that. You see some videos on that. That was Gertie. Some kid came in my shop one day to talk about his bike. He saw the car. He made me a deal I couldn't refuse, and I had to sell it because rent was due. So anyway, this is going to be a little update here on Bessie. I do still have the 355 block that I bought off a guy who... anyway, it needs to be rebuilt. So I was thinking of stroking it, make it a 383. And of course, I talk about this in some of my other videos. Then I've got a good friend that works on Cadillacs exclusively. Everything from the beginning of Cadillac until present Cadillac. And I tossed around the idea of putting a big block 500 cubic inch Cadillac motor in here. Stroked out, probably be like a 450 something. That's one of my ideas. If I make it a just like a street strip truck or something, I may still go that route. The smart thing would be to put another Toyota motor in it, turbo, blah blah blah, but that's what everybody does, so I'm not everybody. I like to be different. And probably the best thing would be to put like a small block, aluminum small block Chevy in it or something. The 350s are usually the best choice because you get so much power for the money. The parts are cheap. I still may go that route, but I'm really tossing it around right now. What I have decided is my first intention was to leave Bessie exactly the way she looks. Yeah, I know. Yeah, poor Bessie. Leave her all rough looking. Leave the patina. Leave the rust. I didn't even know if I was ever going to do the nose piece and the grill back on it. But anyway, she had been wrecked bad in the front, and we got her straightened out just enough to drive it. And she's got a little bit of rust here and there. There's some holes in the cab corners, not on this side, but on the other side. One cab mount has a little bit of rust on it, but it's not rusted through, and you can see the paint, obviously the inside of the bed. No, that's not orange paint, that's rust. But all in all, I mean, she's in really good shape. It is a full box frame. For those of you that say, oh, don't put too much power in it. They overbuilt these trucks. That is a 3/4 ton 8-inch rear. So, right now it's, this is one of the reasons I'm shooting a video, because I changed the differential in it to get highway gears. I'll talk about that in the middle. But they're bulletproof rears, and I can change the axles and the differential to go with a 31 spline, because they came factory that way, and I don't have to do a whole lot. And it's the same as having like a, it's just under a 9-inch Ford. It's like a more or less like a 10-bolt Chevy rear, pretty much. I could put some power to it. If I drop a 500 cubic inch in there, I'm going to go with a Curry rear end or something like that, or a strange axle. I mean, I would do it up. But anyway, I keep getting off track here. But basically, this video is to tell you that I decided that I'm not going to leave Bessie like this. Bessie has been so good to us. This is the most reliable truck in this town. And I say that because Bessie is always the one that has to pick up the guys that broke down on the side of the road, on their motorcycles, or people call me because their $40,000 jacked up diesel truck doesn't run, or, you know, whatever their truck is. Bessie has never broke down, has never not started. This truck has just been amazing. Everybody knows Bessie. Everybody loves Bessie. Everybody wants to buy a Bessie. You know, there was a time of day I wouldn't ride in this piece of crap. Number one is Toyota. You know, I was an American guy. Everything's American. You know, number two, it looks like shit. But I fell in love with it. And I get more attention with this little $700 pickup truck than I ever got with my 67 Camaro SS, you know, that was $40,000. So, and more people offer me money for this truck than they did my Camaro, you know? I mean, it's just amazing. She's like a member of the family, you know what I mean? But, yeah, I mean, I had a guy, you know, came to me the other day with he got a printout on the internet of the NADA price guide. There's no blue book on it, but the NADA, in poor condition, these things are going for $2,000, and then in good condition, unrestored, the price was like $8,000. So I mean, you know, it's just I got right now. I have $1,000 in this truck, okay, and I bought it for $700. It had the 20R. I still got the 20R. It still runs. I'm gonna probably take the head off and swap. But I'll tell you what happened, and you can see my other video. But in the midst of trying to build my 350, I ran out of money. So you know, now money's going to start coming in again, and I'm flirting with the idea. But what happened is a good friend of mine said, "Well, I got a motor for you. It's in my racing mud truck down here, you know." And I show this in my other video. Hang tight with me here a minute because I'm going to pop the hood and prop it up. But anyway, he had a 22R. I can't remember now the name of the guys that build these. I'll think of it here in a second. But it used to be yellow. Some of you might recognize that. I can't remember. They're out of somewhere out in the Midwest or whatever. But it was pretty much fresh, rebuilt, hopped up 22R. It's pretty nasty. You can hear the videos. I had a header. A guy bought a header off of a guy. It's got the Weber carb on it. You know, the 3236 carb. It's got an air filter that doesn't actually fit the thing, and it was like an oil bath thing, whatever. Anyway, so I mean, I basically just stuck this in here. I cleaned it up a little bit, but I wasn't going to go all out because I wasn't sure I was going to keep it. But this thing runs phenomenal. It's pretty darn fast. Okay, so let me go from here. Okay, you like that little El Camino thing? I actually put that on there because I was going to put my old SS. You know, I used to do a lot of muscle cars, and I had a bunch of these. These are original SS pins, okay? And I used to have tons of them. And I started looking for them because I was going to put SS in the grill, you know, just kind of goofing off. Well, damn if I can't only find one S. So I ran across one of my old El Camino, and so I just stuck that on there. Just for the hell of it. People have a ball with it, you know? But anyway, so some of you are following me. This thing came with the 411 rear. Which is awesome if you want to put a cube of bricks on the back, you know, and pull out of a hill somewhere or whatever. But on the highway, you know, I was just 65 miles an hour. I was just screaming that little 20R motor. So I did some research and found out that since they have differentials, you can take the differential out and swap in another differential with different gearing, put the drive shaft back in and go. It's like an hour process. And I have a video on that. So basically this video is about what's going to happen to Bessie from here. And it's also going to be about my results from the differential swap. Okay, so it had a 411 rear end, okay? Everybody who races and stuff like that, oh, they want a 411 or a 456 because that's faster, right? It accelerates faster, right? Wrong. People that know drag racing, most of them run like a 373. Okay, some guys run the 456, but it's because of their tire diameter and their gearbox and all that. They don't really know half the time what the hell they're doing. There are a lot of guys that do understand it. Okay, I wanted highway gears because I wanted to be able to get out on the road and drive wherever in the United States I want to drive and not blow my motor up. And I went with a 308 rear. Big difference, right? Okay, so now this thing ought to be a doggone takeoff, right? Wrong. What you do when you go to a lower gear number, okay, is you increase the torque applied to the wheel instead of more or less like the horsepower applied to the wheel. Okay, and I'm talking in layman terms here for some of you to understand it. Okay, so when you have like a 411, 410, 456, the drivetrain is spinning so fast. It's almost like running in place. Yeah, it takes less effort to move it, but you don't go anywhere. You're not covering the amount of ground as you will with the gears that I have in here. So what actually happened was it actually became torqueier. Now when I launch, I am gone, man. I mean, I am gone, and the speed just increases like crazy. So what happened was I ended up, with a torqueier, way faster truck. It's awesome. If you're drag racing, look at that oil in the hood. I'll tell you what happened there under the hood. If you're drag racing, I would not suggest going with a 308, but I had 355s in my Camaro, and it was perfect gearing for drag racing. I don't care what anybody says. It was awesome because, and your times are going to be different. Your ET will be the same, but your mile per hour is going to be different. It's kind of strange, but you just get more work done faster this way. You're covering more ground with the same amount of power. Is basically what I'm telling you. And your top speed is so much better. Now, I didn't push Bessie, but I took it out. I got a little GPS thing on my phone because the speedometer now is not accurate with the gear change because it's, goes off the transmission. The drive shaft and all is turning at different speeds now, way less revolutions. You guys can look all that up and understand that. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. But so now I use, if I'm worried about my speed limit, like if I'm in an area that's heavy with cops, or I just want to kind of look and see what everything's doing, I got this little download of this app. I downloaded it. It gives me mile per hour, gives me all kinds of stuff, max speed, it's got an odometer or whatever. Well, the max speed shows I've been up to, it's 97.9 miles an hour, and I wasn't even pushing it. I had a lot of RPM left. But this little truck, it's got old suspension. Still, I haven't done the U-joints yet. I want to do them. The tires are used. 100 mile an hour is fast enough for me right now in this little thing because it's all over the road, and it don't have very good brakes. It's drum brakes all the way around, So, in the rear. So anyway, that's fast enough in this little thing. It'll go much faster, but these things would never ever do that from the factory. So I'm launching off the line. I'm ripping everybody a new ass, and I can get out on the highway now and cruise. So now my cruising speed is 3,000 RPMs is 70 miles an hour, give or take. And that's where it likes to run, a little less than 3,000. It's really extremely smooth. 3,000, she's starting to, buzz a little bit, and it's supposed, I think the rev limiter is like 5,800 or 50 couple hundred or something is where it's supposed to be set. I've never hit that. I've never hit the rev limiter. I'm not even sure if it works or if it's in there. But there's no sense of running these engines that hard, as most of you know. They stopped producing power way before that. The torque is down low. It's got torque right off the line. This is basically, not to upset a lot of people, but basically this is what's called a tractor engine. Just like the Ford 6 cylinders and Chevy 6 cylinder straight sixes that they made. These engines are designed off of a tractor engine. It's an inline four. It's meant to make torque, not horsepower. It's meant to get the job done. You guys, everybody talks about horsepower, 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 and that's great. I love horsepower too, but horsepower is an advertisement term for people that are trying to sell cars. Horsepower sells cars. Torque is what gets the job done. Okay, so if you want to be fast from light to light or be fast on the street, you want torque, not horsepower. If you want to break the sound barrier, you want horsepower, because it's going to take you 2.5 miles to get that horsepower. The horsepower is usually at the top RPM range. When are you ever going to just run? You're going to run your motor all the time at peak top RPM? It's not going to last very long. You want a motor that gets a job done way before you got to rev it. Okay, so that's the theory behind it. You can dispute it or whatever, but that's just what the fact is. Okay, so yeah, I slapped in this little 22R, and this truck is like, twice as powerful as it was. It's extremely reliable. This is basically a brand new motor. I got, different gears in it now, so I'm not over revving the thing. This thing's awesome. I get in it, I hit the key, it starts on about 1/4 of a crank, and it's like, pow, it just fires right up. Usually, depending on the weather, and if I accidentally pump the accelerator pump or something like that. I haven't got real fancy under the hood because, she's not done yet. But I wanted to kind of give a little update with the gearing. I am so glad I did it. They're very hard to find because the Toyotas just never break down. They're not in junkyards or nothing. It took me 1.5 years to locate the differential for, I've seen them on eBay. They're like $750. I got this one for $100 from a guy. They're so rare that a guy from New Zealand, who I've been talking to, his name's Japa, or Japa, actually, because he likes Jap stuff, they said. He's from New Zealand, and he contacted me via email and said, have you had any luck finding that 308? I can't find it anywhere. And, affordable. And I said, well, I got one, but I don't know yet, what's happened. I couldn't meet up with the guy. Well, I finally met up with him, obviously, and I got it installed, and, they're just really hard to get. So, having a guy from New Zealand contact me, and now we're good friends, we're back and forth, and, he's a gearhead, and he's into the Japanese stuff. The guy I got this one from is dropping a small block, and he's putting the one of the Supra rears. Supra had the same housing, but different differential and different axles. So it's still an 8-inch rear, but they came heavier duty because of their high-powered motors and stuff. So I can convert this to the same thing, but I didn't want to do that yet. I just wanted to make it reliable until I decide what the heck I'm doing. So anyway, kind of rambling on a little bit, but just want to give you all a little bit of update on what's going on. I got a bunch of different videos. We just went through a blizzard, and I got a partial roof collapse here at my shop. We're in the paint booth right now, wash bay / paint booth, and I couldn't even get back here for like a week, and then the roof had 4 foot of snow on it, and it was real unsafe. So I'm just kind of getting back in here. I ended up grabbing a job for a while because I couldn't get in here to work on stuff to make any money. And now, money's looking like this is a good year. Things are going to turn around. So I just want you all to know that we're going to take Bessie, and I'm going to totally fix Bessie up. She's going to get fully customized, all the body work. I found all the panels. I found the front end I need. We're going to tear the interior out, totally redo it, fix all the rust on it. She's going to get a custom paint job. You'll see when it's done. It's definitely going to get a motor in it of some sort, a V8, most likely. I don't believe I'm going to go the Toyota route with the turbo crap, all that stuff. I'm a carburetor guy by heart, so it's going to either be small block Chevy or a big block Chevy, or, hey, for some reason, I get my hands on a Ford 390 FE or 427 or 428 Turbojet or something like that, something rare, and I'm, Mopar, Hemi, 440, that kind of shit. It really just is going to depend what I get for the right price. Chevy stuff is, I'm Chevy by heart. It's just, I've always been that way, but Chevy stuff tends to be the cheaper, more reliable stuff. You know, that's all. Yeah, I guess that's going to start a debate too, but the facts are the facts. So anyway, you know, welcome to the update. Stay tuned because some things are going to change, and I'm going to give Bessie the attention she deserves, and she's not going to look like this a whole lot longer. And I'm going to try to collect everything before I start because, again, like I say, right now Bessie is the most reliable truck in this town. She's rescued everybody. Yesterday we took and delivered a battery. I went to Battery Mart. I don't have any money. I'm pretty much broke. So me and some other people, we scrounged some money together and got a battery. Excuse me, and took it to a family guy. His wife's got excuse me, got diabetes real bad. He's got 4 kids. Their battery was dead, so Bessie came to the rescue. Anyway, thanks for watching.